Shalom and welcome to Practical Spirituality here in Nation Torah in the Old City of Jerusalem overlooking the Temple Mount. Trust. I want to share with you just a thought on trust. We'll see where it goes, but the trust is on a continuum. Maybe I could draw it. I don't know how to draw it exactly, but trust is on a continuum from no trust. Let's put it like this. Let's call it like this. Let's put it in terms of kids for a sec. No protection, right? Irresponsible parenting. Okay, and then what's on the other side?
Complete protection.
Well, overprotection. That'll mess them up too. Both mess them up. Okay. No protection is where trust is. Overprotection is no trust. Now, you probably never would have thought of this. But think about it. When you're very, very protective of somebody, what you're basically saying is, I don't trust you. I don't trust your ability to make good calls. Your judgment's off. I don't trust you, so I'm just going to protect you and make sure you never, ever get in any trouble because I don't trust you. Now, is that the kind of message anyone wants from their parents?
No.
Not at all. It's an implied statement. You understand? Because all they're doing is just, they're literally like closing you off on every option so that they can stay in control. So here are your parents like fully controlling, but yet you're getting hurt the whole time. Why are you getting hurt? There's actually two human beings on earth that love you so much that want to take care of you. So why are you getting hurt? And why are you feeling like breaking out all the time? The answer is because the implied message of overprotection is I'm not trusted. Well, if I'm not trusted, that means does that bring self-assurance or self-doubt?
Self-doubt.
So that now I'm feeling a lot of self-doubt. And and when you have self-doubt, does the world looks more exciting or more scary with self-doubt? Scary in every aspect. Socially, professionally, meaning your ability to actually do something. Like if you have self-doubt, you're just going to wind up wanting to curl into a little ball and hide with self-doubt. And so as parents, we are in serious, it's a serious situation, this continuum here. Because no protection is irresponsible, but builds the kid like nothing else. Overprotection is like over-responsible, but ruins the child. It ruins the kid. And then the kid's full of self-doubt. The world becomes a scary place, and it's like a loss of a life in a way. Like you really mess this person up. The person you love the most is the one you messed up the most. Weird, right? It's really weird. Because anyone who's overprotective, do they love their kid? Oh yeah. Oh, do they love their kid? And they think they're going to show it by protecting them, protecting the gift of their kid. And the person who shows no protection for their kid, obviously this is within reason. We're not talking about sending your 4-year-old off to, on a safari to Africa. This is, when I say no protection, I'm talking about like based on age, based on maturity of the kid, based on their abilities, you understand what I'm talking about. This was, when I wrote no protection, what I meant was giving the kid a sense that they can do this. And so I think no protection is maybe not even the right word, but we'd call it, let's call it maybe planned protection or over like protection from above, kind of.
Thought out protection.
Over consideration.
Independence.
We'll call it invisible protection. I don't have the right. So we're going to call that invisible protection. Like I'm really into invisible protection. I'll send my kid on some adventure and he has no idea that I've got my tabs on the whole experience. It's very godlike in a way if you think about it. Because like we're off on these adventures. Like all of you right now are in this room are here in Jerusalem. You're all on this adventure. I mean, no one's really keeping that much tabs on you, but God is, and He's giving you a full sense as if you are not being protected. I mean, think about it. When you're walking out in the street, or you were walking around on Purim, or you're walking somewhere here, there, or anywhere, or you're going up to Tzfat for Shabbos, whatever, there's no one on top of you. There's no one on top of you. Oh, can someone give me a 5-minute, 5 to 1, 5 to 4 notice? Is anyone good at time? 5 to 4. Just put up a hand like this. Big wide fingers, yeah. Just like that. You don't have to go like that. So, anyway, one second, I'll get there in a sec. But think about it. With your life with God, God's letting you sense your full vulnerability and all the calculations you have to make. And you got to figure it out. You got to make sure you're not doing something stupid, et cetera, et cetera. But meanwhile, God's totally protecting you from above. And that's kind of the ideal with kids. But here's the one issue, though, is if you do invisible protection, there's another issue, and that's that the kids could feel that you don't care. So you get the balance here? Meaning when you'll be parents, when you're going to be a mother, you're going to be a father, if you do invisible protection, it could be your kids just get a sense you don't even care what they're doing. If you do overprotection, we already discussed that's going to mess things up. So there's a certain level of asking about the details of things to let your kid know that you're involved, that you care, like this is important to you. But there's this implied trust all the time. This was the implied no trust. And this is the implied trust. But I do ask about the details of what that child's going to do, because I want them to know that I do love them and that I'm behind them and that I care about them. So you understand, like these are interesting variables going on here all the time. And don't forget that we didn't even put this part, but there's usually a person here. In this case, we've been talking about a child. But there's a person here, and I've got to choose where along the line I'm going to be relating to this person. Could be a spouse, could be a child, it could be a friend, it could be a student, it could be a teacher. And where am I going to put that person? So a lot depends on that person. So it's a whole other aspect is how much protection does a person like this need? Meaning if you build your child properly, you should be able to go into more and more towards this direction. The more you build your kid, the more built they are, the more you can be less protective and more trusting of them. But the people who are more on this side of things, the kid really is not going to be great at what it does. You know, an interesting example of this, I'll take a question after this example. An interesting example of this is did you know in Texas you're allowed to have wild animals in your home? Meaning you're allowed lions and tigers and bears. Did you know that? Yeah, in Texas you're allowed to do that. And they had issues when they had issues with that in that people would get, you know, the guy works for the who knows what, the military or something. He gets transferred now to a state that doesn't allow wild animals. Meanwhile, they've been raising tigers since the tigers were babies. And they tried to get someone to adopt their tigers, but like good luck getting someone to adopt full-grown tigers. So what they did was this happened years ago, but they took the tigers to Africa, where the tigers were from, and just set them free. And the tigers just got eaten by hyenas, which usually tigers are not hyena food, because tigers are part of the king of the jungle type animals, but they just didn't have any defenses. They weren't able to protect themselves because they were raised in captivity. They were raised in people's home, and so they didn't fend so well out there. Anyway, that's just kind of a way to etch this whole discussion that I've just given over in your mind. And there's a question?
Yeah, okay, so like where on this line would be like a normal place to raise your children? Like what's a balance for your
Well, I was giving over, this was all variables, so it depends on the child. Different children have different level of independence. Different children have different minds and smarts. street smarts. Depends on the kid. But you've got to be very careful because some kids want you asking all about the details and some kids don't. And you have to be able to send two kids out on the same exact different mission. They won't be together, but the same exact mission. And one kid ask more details to let them know you care. And the other kid be careful not to ask the details. But make sure you know the details because you don't want to be irresponsible. So it really is going to depend on each kid. Someone else had a question?
I just wanted to say, because if you try to invisible protect your child, it means that you live with doubt, because you doubt God, actually.
For protecting your kid.
Overprotection is actually living in a doubt, and not in a doubt of your child. Like, you don't doubt your child ability, you doubt God. So, like, you know what I mean?
No. I don't know what you mean. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that subject, everybody. And please join the club, yomtovmedia.com. Sorry, yomtovmediaclub.com.